There is no greater fear for a parent, a grandparent, or anyone who loves a child than the thought of them being snatched away. It's a cold dread that can strike in the most ordinary moments. A child out of sight for a second too long at the park, a late return from a friend's house. It's a primal, gut-wrenching terror that lives in the deepest corners of our minds. A silent scream that asks the unanswerable question, where are they? This fear is the shadow that follows the bright light of parental love. To combat this fear, we become architects of safety. We teach our kids to look both ways before crossing the street, to never talk to strangers. We put helmets on them when they ride their bikes, and life vests when they're near water. We double-check the locks at night and vet the babysitters. We do everything we can to build a fortress of safety around them, constructing walls made of rules, routines, and constant vigilance. But the most dangerous threats don't try to break down the walls. They look for an open door. Evil doesn't always announce itself with a loud noise or a flashing light. It doesn't fit the monstrous caricature we imagine. Sometimes it creeps in quietly, wearing a friendly mask and a gentle voice. It's the neighbor who always says hello, the stranger offering to help find a lost puppy, the person who seems so normal that our internal alarms fail to sound. It lurks in the very places we believe are sanctuaries. It walks the sun-dappled sidewalks of our own neighborhoods, sits on the park benches where our children play, and travels the familiar route they take home from school. These are the spaces that form the backdrop of a happy childhood, where innocence is supposed to be protected, not preyed upon. And because it's so unthinkable, we tell ourselves a comforting lie, that these horrors happen somewhere else, to someone else, in communities unlike our own. We see the tragic faces on weathered missing person posters. We listen to the heartbreaking stories on the evening news, and we feel a pang of sympathy. We hug our children a little tighter, whisper, "I love you," and believe our love is a sufficient shield. But predators are patient. They study us. They count on our inherent trust in the good of others. They exploit our moments of distraction, the quick phone call we have to take, the conversation with another parent. They look for the smallest cracks in our fortress of vigilance, the unlocked gate, the child allowed to walk the last block home alone. These are the openings they are engineered to find. This is a story about one such predator, a man who moved through a quiet town like a ghost, seeking to exploit those very cracks and steal a community's most precious treasure, its children. His actions would test the very fabric of this town. But it's also a story about what happens when that fear is transformed into action, when a community refuses to let darkness win, when neighbors stop being strangers and every set of eyes becomes part of a collective watch. We forge a shield far stronger than any single fortress we could ever build alone. Meadow Creek was the picture of suburban tranquility, tree-lined streets, manicured lawns, children's laughter. It was a community built on the belief that the worst things happened somewhere else. This illusion of security was its greatest vulnerability. Then, a nondescript gray sedan began appearing with unnerving regularity. At first dismissed as coincidence, its presence soon felt less like passing through and more like loitering with intent. It lingered far too long, sometimes for hours, silent and still. The driver was a ghost, a featureless silhouette behind tinted glass, giving the unnerving impression of being watched. Then, the behavior escalated. The car would crawl down the street, matching the pace of children walking home. It never stopped completely, just enough to raise the hair on your neck and plant a seed of dread. Small observations, once kept to oneself, became hesitant whispers over fences. Cautious texts were exchanged between neighbors. The idyllic peace of Meadow Creek was beginning to crack. This passive, predatory behavior was a test, a methodical process of gauging the neighborhood's awareness, charting its routines, and patiently seeking its vulnerabilities. Patterns of opportunity emerged. The lone teenager with headphones, the unsupervised playdate in a front yard, the back gate left carelessly unlocked. The car was always nearby. The vehicle was no longer just a car. It had transformed into a mobile hunting blind. The neighborhood's children had become its unwitting prey. The pervasive feeling of being watched finally broke the surface. Parents gathered in driveways, their voices low and urgent. Even the children, with their sharp intuition, gave the shadow a name, the ghost car. Fear gave way to resolve. Ignoring the threat was a luxury they could no longer afford. The community understood that passivity was an invitation for escalation. The neighborhood's online forum transformed into a digital command center, a hub of urgent warnings and real-time updates. Every post was a piece of a puzzle. With dozens of eyes now watching, the blurry silhouette sharpened. The details became actionable. A gray four-door, with a prominent circular dent on the rear passenger door. They logged every sighting, date, time, place. This collective intelligence systematically stripped away the predator's greatest asset, his anonymity. The hunter was becoming the hunted. Daily habits changed. Vigilance became the new norm. A clear message was sent from every front porch. The line in the sand was drawn, "We see you, and you are not welcome here." 9-year-old Lily knew the rules. Her parents had prepared, not scared her. The car everyone feared pulled up. A man leaned out with an overly friendly smile. "Hey there, I lost my puppy. I have candy if you'll help me look." Classic tricks. Instead of freezing, Lily's mind snapped to the rules. She didn't step closer. She shouted, "No, you're a stranger!" She ran, yelling for her mom. The mask fell away, and he fled. Sarah comforted her daughter, then called 911 without hesitation. Lily had the license plate, Sarah had a description, and witnesses. Dispatch flagged a high-priority incident. Within seconds, every patrol car had the alert. Sarah texted the community, "He was here, tried to get Lily." In an instant, the neighborhood mobilized. Real-time tips poured in. Direction of travel, cross streets, fresh sightings. Doorbell cams and security footage filled in the gaps. One brave child, a quick-thinking mother, an interconnected community, the hunt was on. Sirens closed in from all directions. An officer sighted the target, matching the dent exactly. Stuck in traffic, nowhere to run. 2 cruisers boxed him in. "Show me your hands. Turn off the engine." Out of the car, slowly. He complied, hands shaking as the cuffs went on. Within minutes of the call, he was in custody. Relief washed over Meadow Creek. A simple nod said everything. "You're safe." Evidence stacked up. Candy, toys, crystal-clear images, the plate. A background check revealed prior offenses in another state. A traveling predator. But here he found something he didn't expect. A prepared community. The shadow had been captured. The neighborhood could breathe again. Peace returned. This time earned, not assumed. Justice didn't just come for him. It arrived swiftly. In the days that followed, a different kind of quiet settled over Meadow Creek. It wasn't the silence of fear, but the calm of resolve. The community was healing, but it would not forget. They were resilient, but they were no longer naive. At a packed town hall, a space for answers and gratitude, the police chief praised their collective strength. But he singled out the bravest person in the room, Lily. "Your courage was extraordinary," he said. "You located the suspect, tracked his movements, and gave us what we needed. You reminded us all that one person paying attention can change everything." That night was a turning point. The informal post became a structured, organized neighborhood watch. They brought in experts for awareness training, and volunteers stepped up as block captains, creating communication trees so information could spread reliably and fast. The shared threat had forged something unbreakable. They had faced a monster together, and in doing so, they had transformed from a collection of houses into a true community, a family, bound by a shared purpose. Their experience is a stark reminder that safety isn't a one-time conversation. It starts at home, with a family safety plan. This isn't a document you file away. It's a living part of your family's culture, reviewed and updated as your children grow. First, redefine stranger as anyone your family doesn't know well. Crucially, teach children their safety is more important than being polite. Give them permission to be rude, to say no, to walk away, to scream. Predators rely on a child's conditioning to obey adults. Empower them to break that rule. Practice and rehearse responses to the common tricks. The lost pet, offers of candy, a ride, or the classic, "Your mom sent me." Role-playing these scenarios removes the element of surprise and builds muscle memory, making their response automatic. Establish a non-negotiable family code word. If an adult claims they are there on your behalf but doesn't know the secret word, the answer is simple. No code, no go. In your neighborhood, identify safe places like a trusted neighbor's house or a local shop. And drill the most important actions. Run, scream. And the moment they are safe, tell a trusted adult immediately. But family plans are only one layer of defense. The ultimate shield is a vigilant community. Every parent, every dog walker, every neighbor, be a guardian. Adopt a mindset of shared responsibility for every child on your block. Leverage the tools we have. Private group chats, security cameras, and a direct partnership with law enforcement. But technology is no substitute for human connection. Look up from your phone. Learn your neighbors' names. Know the rhythm of your street. Notice the car that doesn't belong. Trust your gut. Your presence alone is a powerful deterrent. Predators thrive in anonymity and indifference. We take that away from them when we turn their hunting grounds into sanctuaries. Don't wait for your own gray sedan to appear on your street. Start today. The fight to protect our children is not a spectator sport. It's a battle we wage every day, in our homes and on our streets. It's a fight we can only win together. We are, and always will be, stronger together.